My name is Gannon.
And I'm Wyatt. We're twin brothers and avid explorers.
As a flight attendant, our mom traveled the world, and she nurtured the spirit of adventure in us since we were young.
We're just like other kids our age. We go to class, do homework, and play sports. But what we love to do most is travel. No matter how remote, wild, or dangerous a destination, we're always up for a new adventure.
So join us on our quest for the kind of knowledge you can't get from a textbook. The world is our classroom.
And we're bringing you along.
Hi, I'm Gannon.
And I'm Wyatt from Travels with Gannon and Wyatt.
And we are in Greenland.
We got our first glimpse of Greenland from the plane. For my entire life, I had grown up hearing stories of Arctic explorers, and their adventures really captured my imagination.
We're going to the polar ice cap.
Greenland is the largest island on Earth. It's a place that literally nobody visits. We're going to Greenland. It's remote, there's no trees, and the weather can be brutal. It has 24 hours of sunlight, and that's during the summer. During the winter, it's 24 hours of darkness. Eric the Red is the one who gave Greenland its name. He thought that if there was a place called Greenland, people would come there to farm. It was a dirty trick on his part, but maybe he was just lonely.
Our next stop?
Nuuk, Greenland only has about 16,000 people, which makes it the smallest capital in the world.
Welcome to Nuuk.
There are only 54,000 people who live in Greenland, and a quarter of those people live in this town. When we first landed in Greenland, we left our hotel and we started to walk around.
Let's just walk. Okay.
One thing that I noticed right away is trying to find your way around is kind of hard because people in Greenland don't really tell you complete directions. It's not go up 3 blocks and turn left. It's more like just go that way.
There are only 2 stoplights in all of Greenland. One of them is here. If you want to see the other, you have to go all the way to here.
There's not a lot of things there. I mean, they're not really used to seeing tourists because nobody ever goes there. They've got a few restaurants, a bank or two, and then a grocery store.
Time to go get some supplies.
This is the place to shop. There's something you don't see over there. Whale meat. This stuff. This. Yes. Go ahead and check it out. Pretty pricey in Greenland. One thing that I thought was really great is how they collected their wood. Greenland has no trees. In fact, in Siberia, the trees that fall into the ocean go all the way to Greenland. So basically, the houses are made of driftwood. The scenery around Nuuk is spectacular.
Now let's go down in the water. Wow, this is really amazing. When I first came to Greenland, I wasn't sure what to expect. I have to say, traveling is great, but this is what I really look forward to, is these magnificent views.
The people in Nuuk are really nice. Walking around one day, we actually met a local girl who was kind enough to answer some questions that we had.
I think to be able to understand the Greenlandic nation and what they should see is that we all have our differences. Like, you have to kill the seal to be able to survive. We have to fish. That's what we have here. We don't have pigs, we don't have chicken, and we have to sell our stuff like this seal skin to be able to provide for our country.
How is it sleeping every night here in the brightness?
We're used to it.
When we were actually there, you're jet lagged and all of this just piled on with 24 hours of sunlight. It was kind of hard to sleep. And there were a few pros and cons. I mean, one con, of course, was the fact that it was always light. And one pro was it made for some great sunsets every single day.
Language lessons with Gannon and Wyatt.
¿Qué pasa, Jumbo?
Bonjour.
Konnichiwa. How's it going?
The official language in Greenland is Greenlandic. It's not easy to learn, and making it more difficult is they also use facial expressions to communicate. So, here are a few common phrases and expressions to help you converse with the locals. How are you? Koi no pupu. Thank you. Koyana. No thank you. Koyana no puna. Hello. Hello to that special someone.
You want to go get some fish?
Yeah, let's go. Holy crap.
They got a lot of fish here. Gannon's kind of creeped out by the smells and sights of the insides. Quite frankly, I really want to eat some fish.
The seal jerky looked promising, so when I took a bite,
Bottoms up.
it was absolutely disgusting.
Somehow, Gannon talked me into sampling some of the local seal. I'll never do that again. That was probably the worst tasting thing I've ever had in my life. Their diet was really seal and whale blubber.
Mmm, chewy.
Not a big fan of the seal, but let's try to smoke some in.
I guess when in Greenland, do what the Greenlanders do.
Okay. It's really good.
Yeah. Ooh, fish.
Just
Yummy!
Artie's going for seconds.
Oh, delicious.
Savage.
If you eat at the fish market in Nuuk, you're going to want one of these.
I think one of the funniest parts about Nuuk is Santa's mailbox.
Do you ever wonder where your letters to Santa go? Right here.
Now you know.
Ho, ho.
The next day, we decided to go to the museum and learn about the Inuit people who are pretty much Eskimos.
We're on our way to the museum, which is on Quailapaka Ikiviki Saki Street.
Here it is, Wyatt, the museum. I also heard that they have a 500-year-old baby.
I'm Pauline Knudsen. I'm from the National Museum of Greenland. I'm an archaeologist.
How did the Eskimos survive the harsh climate when they were on the dog sleds?
They make very warm clothing from deer skins, seal skin, caribou skin, and polar bear skin, fox skin, and even dog skin. And they covered the sledge with skins also, but if they're on a long sledge journey, they could build an igloo, and inside they could make it warm with a seal blubber.
Pauline, one of our missions is to get to the polar ice cap. How would we get there?
The easiest way is to rent a helicopter.
Every single road in Greenland is a dead end. It doesn't connect to any other towns. Really, you could either fly to a place, you could dog sled, and then you have snowmobiles.
For the first leg of the trip, we decided to fly to the Arctic. One thing I realized when we entered the airport, there was no customs or immigration. It was really weird.
You just kind of walk right in.
I'm not gonna take off from this.
first obstacle to get into the Arctic is going to be taking off in this fog. Nice weather to fly in.
Oh, good.
I guess the pilots are used to flying in bad weather because there was practically no visibility.
Look out the window. Look out the window. Here. Open the window. It's like the edge of night.
As I mentioned before, Greenland really has no security because when we were in the airplane, they actually told us once they saw our camera to just come on up into the cockpit, so we got to film a lot.
They're gonna let us go into the cockpit. So yeah, let's go.
I can come in. Hi, how are you?
When we were on the plane, I looked out the window, and all of a sudden, I saw icebergs the size of buildings.
We were in the Arctic, and I was pumped.
Arctic Circle. Well, we made it. We're officially inside the Arctic Circle. The glaciers we saw coming in were amazing. I didn't think we were gonna be able to make it in with all this fog, but we did. And believe it or not, it's a lot warmer here than you would think. I actually had to shed my jacket. Now we're gonna head into town and see what's going on there. Come on, let's go check out Ilulissat.
Waiting for the bats. Part of my life.
Oh, what do you have for fun?
Well, we do a lot of sports during the winter and during the summer. Most people do soccer here in town.
We actually stopped to see a local soccer game, and there was no grass there.
It was more like soccer hockey. There was just only rock and dirt, which would be pretty hard if you wanted to side tackle someone.
Regardless of whether they could slide tackle or not, these kids were good.
What kind of fish?
Halibut.
There's about 1,000 dogs more than there are people in this town.
So many things. It's all so first.
So here it is, home of Knud Rasmussen, the great explorer.
What impressed me the most about Nuuk was his epic dog sled adventures from Greenland to Siberia and back, a total of 20,000 miles.
The house that I lived in is still there. They turned it into a museum, so we went there for a little inspiration.
Going into Knud Rasmussen's house.
Hey Wyatt, check it out. It's his journals. One of the cool things he did on the trip is that he kept a journal.
His journals are probably the most extensive study of Eskimo culture ever conducted.
Nice job, Nuuk.
Above me you see a map of Knud Rasmussen's epic journey. He went from Greenland all the way to Siberia. He's been traveling for over 20,000 miles.
When I learned about Nuuk, I knew what I wanted to do in Greenland. I wanted to take a dog sled adventure across the ice cap. To me, that would be a true Greenlandic experience.
But dog sledding on an ice cap isn't easy. We needed some major planning.
As soon as we had heard that there was a traditional ice camp in Greenland, we knew we had to get there.
Getting anywhere in Greenland is really hard. First of all, the boat didn't appear in top shape.
Small boat to be going across the Arctic in.
It was by far the coldest boat ride I had ever taken.
My name is Abiyaya Larsen and I'm working for World of Greenland. According to safety, there are safety vests under the seats. Inuit culture is the relationship to life and death. The Greenlandic nature has always been very rough, very dangerous. For example, there was an Inuit woman who found that her refrigerator was completely empty. One day it was winter, she has nothing to eat. What did she do? She just started to laugh, you know. There's nothing else you can do. You actually need humor to survive.
So here's a life raft. It's on the top of the boat. This is what we're gonna use if we hit an iceberg. First, it's in this little container. Then it becomes that. And if we're lucky, our boat won't look like this when it goes in the water. And the life jackets, you do not want to use, because quite frankly, if you fall in, what are you gonna do? You're toast.
We're about to hit the ice field.
I could just hear the boat hitting the ice. Boom, boom.
Captain, icebergs everywhere!
Wow. So are we able to get out of this stuff?
I don't know about this. It's some thick ice.
After we got through the iceberg fields, we actually stopped.
It's a little concerning. It's just a wee bit concerning. I didn't bring gloves. I'm gonna freeze my hands off.
When it dissolves, it makes this sound because it's comprised snow. So it's full of tiny little bubbles. And when you put it into water, you can hear the oxygen coming out. So this is air, 25,000 years old air coming out now.
Oh! Lightning!
We saw an iceberg calving, and when it's calving, that means it's pretty much falling apart in front of us.
When the glacier calves, you're not sure what you're gonna find. That ice is thousands of years old, and there could be anything under there.
There could be a woolly mammoth in there.
Oh my God.
Pieces of ice that fall off the glacier are so large, it's even rocking our boat. And even though it's that far away, we can still feel the wave under us.
Is that the big part of it? There's no way you can see anything.
I've got to get a picture of this thing calving.
Here we go. Where's Arno? You got your camera?
Here comes
what?
Oh, shiny.
Here we go!
I think we're all gonna die.
I remember one massive chunk flew off and hit the water, and at first we're like, it's just a regular piece, but then it started to slowly build up this massive wave and started coming towards us.
Oh my God. Oh my
Get
God.
that wave!
Oh my God.
Gannon, get up here!
Oh my God, I'm gonna die.
I'm looking at it and the wave is coming right at us.
Go, 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 go!
I'm thinking,
I don't want this to be my last day.
hey, Captain, you want to start the boat?
I think we should back up. No, I'm serious. The captain just ran to move the boat when this glacier broke off.
Luckily, the captain got the boat started and turned it into the wave, making it so it would be completely unharmed.
That was good.
When we pulled up past the iceberg, there was the camp right there, and I knew instantly it was one of the coolest places I had ever seen. It was home to Paul Emile Victor, who was a French explorer and is where his team stayed when they explored the Arctic. And I remember getting off the boat and tossing our bags ashore and instantly being swarmed by mosquitoes.
Come on, let's go.
There was millions of them, and they would break into clouds and just sit on your face.
I hate bugs.
Arctic mosquitoes.
While you were in the huts, it never really got dark, and I was so sleep deprived I did something that I probably shouldn't have done. I stuck my head in the water.
This water is 2 degrees. It's freezing, and if you fall into it, it can kill you in 30 seconds. So I'm gonna stick my head in it.
Ah! Oh, I need a towel! Comes out going, someone get me a towel!
It literally felt like somebody was stabbing me in the back of the head with a knife.
He goes, someone give me a towel! And it was like putting tinfoil on your face, so he was like, oh my God. The plans to get to the ice cap were coming along, but to go on a dog sled, you've got to work with the dogs.
Cool, we're gonna go see these sled dogs, maybe feed them. We're gonna go meet Ole, he's the owner. Yeah, they're gonna be the same dogs we're gonna take to the ice cap. Hi, Ole.
Hi there, guys.
I'm Wyatt.
I'm Ole.
Hey, Ole, I'm Gannon.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about these dogs?
This dog is an Eskimo dog, and it came to
to Greenland 4,500 years ago with the first Inuits. They came first from Alaska to Canada, and then from Canada they came to Greenland. When they came here, they were not in front of a sledge, what most people think. No, they came as backpackers. But then 600 or 800 years ago, they started to pull dog sleds. So the dogs has been very, very important for the people to survive up here.
Back in exploration times, dogs were really the only way to get anywhere. The dog sled's still used today actually by a ton of people.
I'll tell you a little bit about the dogs. When you have a dog team, you have around 12 to 20 dogs. So you have an alpha male, and he is often the biggest one. Maybe he's not the brightest one, but he's the biggest one, the strongest one. And you can see my alpha male, his name is Kamik, and it's a black one over there. Kamik! Kamik! And you can see he has white boots.
The alpha male was named Kemik, which means white Greenlandic boots.
He was called this because on his fur, which is all black, he had white boots.
I'm going to feed the dogs right now. You want to help me?
Yeah.
Sounds great. Some bad looking mean dog.
These sled dogs are tough. I mean, really tough.
They have to be if they're gonna pull heavy sleds when it's 60 below zero.
We can hear them all barking now. They know they're going to be fed now. Just take one and take it to one of the dogs. Yeah. You feed them mostly, you give them fish. A lot of fish, yeah.
Oh my God, my head! Oh God! Oh God, they have no head! Oh, there it is. It's okay, they didn't bite it off. Got a new friend. After spending a couple of hours with these dogs, we were ready
to go on the ice cap.
Well, it wasn't easy, but Ole got us transportation to the polar ice caps.
In the summer, there are two ways to get to the ice cap. You can either hike, or you could go the fun way, which is by helicopter.
This is what's going to keep us warm out on the ice cap.
The helicopter was a Russian Sikorsky.
That's ours?
I'm gonna crash into you!
These things are sweet, but they're extremely old. This one was built in the 1950s, but for some reason, I was confident to go in this helicopter and get to the ice cap.
Not me.
What happens if that prop comes flying off?
Well, we're going to go into the water and we'll have 5 seconds to get out of it.
Or else?
Or else we die. Bye. Polar ice cap.
No. What's the terrain like that we're going to be flying over?
Water.
Nervous? I'm not happy. It was loud, vibrating, and shaky. Whoa, check out that glacier! Size of that iceberg!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lindmarsh Fire. We'd like everybody to be back in the helicopter no later than 4:15 local time. unless you'll be stuck up here.
I was pumped. We finally made it to the ice cap.
Polar ice cap! Woo! Yeah! That's what Greenland's all about.
And I felt like I was in some sort of James Bond movie.
This is sick. We made it.
We flew in on the helicopter, and we landed on the glacier, and while the props were still spinning, we jumped out, and there were the dog sleds sitting there ready for us to go.
Ice cap, baby! Oh, yeah!
And as soon as we hopped on the dog sleds, we were off.
These things could really move. I mean, these dogs fly. I remember our cameraman, Rob, actually got in the helicopter, so while we were driving around on the dog sleds, you see this helicopter coming around in circles filming us. I thought that was one of the coolest things.
Ow! Fly! This is awesome! Yeah! This is where they did it at all times. Speed bump! Speed bump!
But when we were coming back, I said one of the most cheesiest lines.
Get to the chopper!
Being on a dog sled, I was finally reminded of what my dad used to say. If you're not the lead dog, then your view stinks. I finally found out why.
That's not party! That's party!
I think the worst part of dog sledding had to be the dog farts.
Oh, no kidding.
No one told me about the dog farts.
After a while, you finally got used to the dog farts.
I like sledding.
I think there's something in the seal meat. I mean, I think it's the meat or their adrenaline or something. All I know is nothing's meant to fart that much. It gave me a new respect for Nuuk.
Ow. I can't believe Nuuk Rasmussen took this thing 20,000 miles with all those dogs.
Dog sledding on an ice cap. Major highlight of our trip.
Bye-bye, Paulette.
One of the things that I took away from Greenland was finding out how Greenland is such an amazing place.
Wow, look at those icebergs.
It's amazing how above the Arctic Circle in Greenland, people can actually survive and even thrive.
The world is changing, but to Greenlanders, it's important to preserve their way of life.
Hunting, fishing, and dog sledding.
They have a true appreciation for the Arctic.
It's the Eskimo way. They love nature and their way of life. It's like Nuuk Rasmussen always said,
give me dogs.
And give me cold.
And forget the rest.
I mean, that pretty much sums it up.
This is definitely the most remote place we've ever been.
Yeah.
I love you. Listen to him. Hi, I'm Gannon. Dude, just be happy. You're supposed to. Ow! Hi, I'm Gannon. And I'm Wyatt. You're ruining this! The flight's not. No. I'm stuck. Hi, I'm Gannon.
What's going on? It's Brad, Bucky.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Greenland. We'll see you next time on Travels with Gannon and Wyatt. Whoa!